So what is your advice for just kind of picking up on if somebody is struggling? Because like I know a lot of people are shy or they feel guilty, feel shame about admitting they're depressed or they need help. Like how do you recommend we stay sensitive to what people are going through and like we pick up on these things? Is there anything else that you can kind of like identify as like a call for help?
Yeah. So I think it's really important that you just recognize if there's any major shifts in their behavior and in their mood. This person who's usually talking all the time at dinner, all of a sudden they're quiet. They're not talking as much. This is not really like them. When you sense that, that's not really like this person, that's a flag. Sometimes we think we need to see like major things happening or there need to be sobbing and crying and devastated. It doesn't look like that. Maybe they're not a very agitated or irritated person, but now they're just like angry all the time. The door seems to be slamming a little bit harder. They don't want to come out as much. They keep canceling last minute. They are starting to report other like my head hurts, I don't want to eat. These are the minor shifts that you want to be looking at. Or if someone is like agitated quite easily, then that's not something you're looking for. But if you know your loved one, then you know when there's a shift in their behavior. And then you want to watch that. Or you just want to reflect it back that, I've noticed that you've been quiet a little bit more than usual. And that's it. And just see if that opens something up in them. Yeah, no, man, I'm just going through something right now. Well, you want to talk about it? And they might say, no, I don't want to talk about it. Well, I'm here if you want to talk about it. And I would probably leave it at that at the first time. Then the second time I might visit them again and say, okay, what's going on? You've canceled on me 4 times already. Like, what's going on with you? I want to be here for you and know that you don't have to carry this alone. They might open up if there is psychological safety between the two of you. But being with them is enough. Sometimes we feel like we have to say the right things and do the right things and, bend over backwards or, have some sort of like Messiah moment here, but it doesn't have to be that way. Just sitting with them and saying, you know what, I'm gonna grab that favorite dish that they have, and that's it. Just being with them when they are feeling that way. But they'll say, no, but I don't want you to stay in. I really know that you wanted to go out, because they'll be feeling guilty because they're being the downer, right? But just say, no, I'm gonna be with you in these times and we'll have fun times as well, but I'm gonna be with you here. So I think just if you are persistent in being with them, soon enough they will tell you what's going on. But I think oftentimes we're like, tell me what's going on and I really want to know, and we just want to break through. But it doesn't happen that way.
Oh no, I do that a lot. I get really like annoying and persistent. Is there any like recommendations of questions to ask, or do you think it's just like asking one question, giving space, giving it time?
Well, I think it's important to reflect what you see so they know that you notice. They know that, I've noticed that you've lost some weight. How are you feeling? Rather than, wow, you look amazing. Because sometimes people say that and you're like, it's so far from how I'm feeling right now, because the weight loss could be indicative of depression or anxiety. So I think if they sense that you are open and able to hold, then they might be more inclined. So it's not just you that is contributing to them not opening up. It also is them not feeling ready or not feeling self-acceptance is not there, self-compassion is not there for that person. But I would say that there are things you shouldn't say when someone is feeling low. There are times when, and out of the goodness of our heart, we do this. Things like, look on the bright side. There's so much that you have in your life to be grateful for. Now, I'm a big fan of gratitude, but that's not what they need to hear right now, because they're feeling already so guilty about feeling low. They already know that, my God, I have such a good life and I don't know why I'm feeling this way. So you just saying, well, look on the bright side, makes them further away from feeling connected to you or feeling safe enough to speak to you. There needs to be some acceptance of like, do you want to go out for a walk or do you want to stay home? Whatever you need, I'm with you. And they might say, well, why don't we try going out? And you could say, okay, we can try going out, but the second you change your mind, we're out of there. Like, you can make it okay for them to say, oh, I changed my mind. Another thing is when we say something like, well, at least you have a job, but at least like you make a lot of money. At least it's not going to help me in this moment. And that's similar to look on the bright side of things, or shake it off, or come on, you're better than this. When we say things like that, we're not creating safety. I know you don't want them to be sad, but when you are with them in their sadness, only then will they move out of that. And when they feel that, all of a sudden they're like, well, I'm not alone. And then soon enough, they will say, well, you know what? At least I have this. So they will lift themselves out because their spirit is so resilient. But it just needs to know that you see me, you're with me, I'm not alone, which is very hard for people that love someone that is hurting because we just want them to feel better. And so it's coming out of a good place, but it ends up backfiring.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Like, look on the bright side, all of this stuff.
I'm the opposite. I'm like, let's go to the darkness. Let's go. So yeah, such a powerful feeling.
Yeah, that's
to be
so
seen by
interesting.
someone.
So interesting and so different to what I do. So I'm definitely taking notes also. I hope everybody watching is also taking notes because it's such great advice. And I know on the flip side, that's what I would want as well.
Yeah.
You know, just to be like listened to and to feel heard.
And I think people are afraid. If you come and say, you know, I'm feeling really low, and I say, oh, tell me about that. Tell me what's making you feel low. I'm feeding the lowness. Right? Sometimes we say whatever you feed gets stronger, but we apply that to everything, and all of a sudden nobody wants to talk about sad things because am I feeding the sad? And that's not it. You're just honoring it. And there's a difference between honoring it, validating it, recognizing it, and then saying, and then I have this to be grateful for also. But when we just lift out of that place, that's when we are not honoring that sadness. So I think we're afraid to feed sadness or low feelings, but we're not feeding them, we're just honoring them.
Absolutely. No, I definitely need to change some of my ways. Oh my gosh. So if you do see one of your loved ones struggling and you want them to get mental help, how do you suggest you go about it? Because I know some people can be very defensive, especially in this part of the world. Like people take it as you're offending them. Like how do you kind of ease them into it and just make it feel like easy and welcoming and not as an insult?
I think you cannot help someone who's not ready. Okay, so that's the one thing that I would say is that the more you force it, the more they will resist it. And so we don't want to force anyone to get help. We do want to sit with them. We do want to open up these conversations. We do want to create psychological safety. We do want to create an openness between us. And eventually, from that place, when you have their trust, you can say, listen, I know someone. I think you might do you some good to be able to talk to someone. Do you want me to help arrange that? Sometimes it's like, oh my God, who am I going to find and how am I going to find them and when am I going to book the appointment? And when I'm feeling that low, I don't have the energy to even brush my teeth, let alone like go show up. And I can even go with you to the first appointment if you want, if you think that that might make you feel safe. So that's how I would approach it, that, you know, try it out. It doesn't hurt. Like you can try it for 1 or 2 sessions. And if it doesn't help, okay, but if it helps, then you can continue. So I usually tell people that just give it a few sessions and then you can always change your mind, but at least you know that you've tried that. That's ways you can get people to move in that direction. And there is a lot of stigma, there is a lot of taboo. So what I might start doing is like, you know, maybe there are social media influencers that are talking about these things that are licensed therapists, and maybe send a video, like, because sometimes they think that, you know, psychologists are like in white lab coats and like sitting there with like a board writing down everything, and maybe when they see that this person isn't so scary, like, well, I wouldn't mind talking to her or I wouldn't mind talking to him, then they might feel like, okay, well, I'll try it. The first session can really just be like, can you tell me a little bit about what the process is like? You don't have to talk about anything you don't want. All you have to do is sit with a therapist and say, tell me what we're gonna do, just so I feel safe enough. That's it. And know that if a mental health professional is licensed and is trained, they will never make you talk about anything that you are not ready to talk about. If they sit down and they say, well, tell me about your traumas, no, run out the door. You should not be doing that. So you want to make sure that you select the person who is gonna be on a journey with you.
I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Saliha. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to comment down below any questions you guys have for her and anything you guys want us to discuss on our next talk that we do. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.